guys.
How you doing?
Bill, you don't say things like "I want you back" very often to guys like you did with Kevin tonight.
Yeah.
What's the reason for that?
Well, I just think he fits us, and I don't think it's a percentage play that he comes back, but he needs to know that he's welcome back, and in my opinion, he should decide if the time's right for him to go to the NBA or whatever it's going to be. If the time's right, then do it. But just know that there's no pressure on Ford to make it the right time. So that's the big thing with him.
Do you see him having the potential like Ochai stepped into that role, Jalen stepped into this role now?
I see him. I don't know that he's a natural scorer where he can go get you 20 a game, but I see him having a senior year that would be impactful in the same way theirs was, except postseason awards sometimes are based on points scored. So I don't know if I see him averaging 20, but I do see him having the same impact as a senior that those guys had.
You talked about Jalen Wilson, and it's clear when you talk about him that he means a lot to you. Can you sum up maybe just what you've learned from him? I know that you probably taught him a lot over the years, but I'm sure he's taught you some things.
Well, first of all, he's like when he walks into a room, he thinks he's the coolest, best looking, the most competitive, the toughest guy regardless. And I love that about him, that he has so much self-confidence. And I also love the fact that he doesn't remember the misses. He only remembers the makes. And you can take that, you can say that in basketball, but that's also life too. He doesn't get down about the bad things that happen. He gets pumped up about what potentially is out there for him. So I think he's been a great role model for all of us.
How many portal guys do you want?
I would say a minimum of 3. But I'm not sure there's a maximum of, I'm not saying a maximum of 4 or more. I'm just saying a minimum of 3, and then we'll kind of reevaluate if we can get 3.
Coach, I know the season just ended, but are you already looking forward to next year? I mean, is that?
I will say I'm looking forward to building a roster. And then after we build a roster, I'll look forward to some time off before we actually hit it hard this summer.
Is there some things that, is there, going into the next year, is there a strength of this team that you want to build or add to that?
I think athleticism on the perimeter and perimeter shooting, without question. One thing about this team, if it wasn't for Juan coming off a ball screen, we had a hard time touching the paint. So we need to do some things with maybe some guys that can go get their own. And then we obviously are going to miss Jay Will and Grady shooting. We got to replace that too.
With this year's team, what's the thing that you enjoyed most coaching on?
I think they shared the ball and the ball moved. I think when we played well, I thought we were hard to guard in large part just because the guys were so unselfish.
Can you talk a little more about Norm and what he did? I mean, you mentioned it a little tonight, but you knew he had that in him. But did it surprise you?
I'm not sure that. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure that any of my coaches couldn't have done a good job with that. But he sat on the sidelines before, and I think that experience he had at St. John's probably helped him from a managing standpoint and from an emotional standpoint. Probably helped him more because other people hadn't been through it, and I don't think he felt the pressure that maybe some other guys would have. All right, guys.
Thanks,